Welcome to solving multi-step equations. Today we will be learning about multi-step equations. That's why it's called solving multi-step equations. By the end of the session you will learn how to solve multi-step equations. A multi-step equation is an equation that takes multiple steps to solve. That's why it's called a multi-step equation. Without any further ado, let us begin today's lesson. How to solve multi-step equations. Here are general rules you can follow with an example for assistance. After this small rundown, we will go over multiple other examples of multi-step equations. Let's make our first example be 8 plus 4, 2x plus 7, equals 2 plus 6x. Step 1 is to use the distributive property and get rid of parentheses and brackets by distributing them. For example, with 8 plus 4, 2x plus 7, equals 2 plus 6x, distribute by multiplying 4 times everything in the parentheses on the left side and 2 times everything in the parentheses on the right side. The equation becomes 8 plus 8x plus 28 equals 4 plus 12x. Step 2 is to combine like terms to simplify both sides of the equation. For 8 plus 8x plus 28 equals 4 plus 12x, the only like terms are 8 and 28 on the left side, so we add 8 plus 28. The equation becomes 8x plus 36 equals 4 plus 12x. For step 3, we use inverse operations. Remember, our goal is to isolate the variable since we're trying to solve for x. We do this by applying inverse operations to get rid of one side of variables and constants. For 8x plus 36 equals 4 plus 12x, we'll get rid of the 8x on the left first since it's smaller than the 12x on the right and will lead to a positive number. We subtract 8x from both sides to get 36 equals 4 plus 4x. This works because the subtraction property of equality states that if x equals y then x minus z equals y minus z. Now, to isolate the variable even further, we get rid of the constant, 4, that's on the right. Subtract 4 from both sides to get 32 equals 4x. Now for the final step, we have to apply inverse operations to both sides one last time to get rid of the coefficient of 4 so we find the value for x. Since 4x just means 4 times x, the inverse operation is division. Divide both sides by 4. 4x divided by 4 just equals x and 32 divided by 4 equals 8. This means that x equals 8. Let's try 2 more examples. For our next one, let's go with 3, 6 plus 2x, equals 8, 5x plus 6, minus 4x. Now, it may seem quite daunting at the start, but you have to go through the same steps to solve this one. First, distribute everything in the parentheses to simplify the equation to get 18 plus 6x equals 40x plus 48 minus 4x. See, it's much more simple once distributed. Now combine like terms to simplify the equation even further. 40x and negative 4x are like terms so you can simplify the equation to 18 plus 6x equals 36x plus 48. Now it's a simple and normal equation. Follow step 3 and use inverse operations. Subtract both sides by 6x to get 18 equals 30x plus 48 and then subtract both sides by 48 to get negative 30 equals 30x. Now that the variable is isolated apart from its coefficient, you follow the final step and use inverse operations again to get rid of the coefficient by dividing both sides by 30. 30x divided by 30 equals x and negative 30 divided by 30 equals negative 1. That means x equals negative 1. It's quite simple if you follow the right steps. Let's have one final example, just for clarity. This time it'll be negative 5 plus 2, x minus 3, equals negative 1 plus 8x, plus 5x. Use the distributive property to get negative 5 plus 2x minus 6 equals negative 8x minus 1 plus 5x. Combine like terms for 2x minus 11 equals negative 3x minus 1. Use your inverse operations to add 3x to both sides. The new equation is 5x minus 11 equals negative 1. Isolate the variable further by adding 11 to both sides to get 5x equals 10. Finally, divide both sides by 5 to get rid of the coefficient and get the final answer of x equals 2. Just for reference, our video contains one more example that we won't be going over as we've done multiple examples. If you wish to view this example, please pause the video. Now, to end off this lesson on multi-step equations, here's a small yet informative question and answer section. Q. If there's a negative number outside of parentheses, do I multiply everything inside by that negative number or the positive version? For example, if it's 5 minus 3, 2x plus 3, does it become negative 3, 2x plus 3, or does it become 3, 2x plus 3? A. You use negative 3 because it would be 5 subtracted by everything to the right. Q. What if there's a fraction outside of the parentheses? A. If it's a fraction that'd make it harder to multiply values inside the parentheses with, you can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction to get rid of it and make it easier on you. That's all for this lesson on multi-step equations. We hope you enjoyed and that this video assisted you in learning how to solve multi-step equations.